Yo, what's going on, my fellow revelers? Welcome back to another episode of the Festy Hub Podcast. I'm your host, Manny, aka Frisky Hug, and today's guest we have Yale. I've known Yale since I think like 2020. We actually met like at a virtual like drinking rave party thing back when COVID was at its most extreme. But it's funny because like what we're gonna be talking about is basically his development and kind of like evolution in the EDM community. So like he, started off just barely going to like one rave, and then next thing you know, he's now like writing articles about DJs and stuff. So I thought it was just like a really cool growth, and I thought that it was like, just really amazing just seeing like the timeline because I've met him like right when he kind of got started, going to raves. So we put him into the podcast and we talk a little bit about that. So I hope you guys really enjoy this episode. So I'm finally back after like a 3-week hiatus of podcasting. Been taking a little bit of break, but we have back-to-back podcast episodes after today. So really excited about that. And yeah, my next event, just to catch you guys up on a couple things. My next event was or is going to be Ultra Miami Music Week. I'm not going to Ultra, but I will be going to like the Miami Music Week only. I think I'm only going to be going like for Saturday. So I'm going to see what's happening on Saturday and just be there for the weekend. And then I just got back from Okeechobee. Same thing. I just did one day. So I just did Saturday. Okeechobee was a vibe. Got super sunburnt, but the vibes were all there. Tragedy for what happened though, with like the deaths and stuff like that. That's like sad to hear. But yeah, that's all related to this week and next week, I think, for Miami. Okay, enjoy the episode. All right, so I'd like to welcome Yale to the podcast. How's it going,
Thank you for
brother?
having me.
Yeah, man, of course. So Yale, I don't know if this is the first encounter that we had, but this is what I remember, right? It was COVID, and you were invited, I think, by one of my like online friends. We were doing a lot of like Zoom chatting at the time. That was my
Yeah.
first encounter. Is that what you remember?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So we met on like webcam, like Zoom, video chat rooms and stuff. That during COVID, we were all like watching the same sets and stuff. Like we were all getting like drunk virtually and stuff. That's kind of how
Well, I was not. Everyone else was. I was not.
yeah. I
I
was,
don't blame. I don't
I
blame.
was, I was the one literally passing out in the bed during the middle of the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, we all took COVID a little differently. That was just time for me to just get drunk. Um, but that's how like we know each other. For the viewers out there that don't know you yet, would you mind giving a quick intro?
Sure. My name's Yale. That's actually my name on my government issued ID. Name is actually Yale. I work in the industry in a lot of capacities. Most recently, I started working at a venue in Philadelphia, the Av Live. Basically doing everything. I do artist hospitality, operations, everything. I mean, eventual goal was be able to run the venue by myself without anyone else needing to be there. So I gotta eventually learn how to do everything involving lights, like production, everything, checking in on the various stations, being able to run box office, code check, managing the stage, doing that. So I do that. I work there on the weekends. I do promo for a management company under which I also manage 3 artists. And I also write for EDM Train. I run the publication of EDM Train. I also write for Dancing Astronaut as well.
Okay, hey, here you got a whole lot of lists there. What are
I
the what are
basically
the, what are the DJs do you manage?
I manage Barely, 4D, and Vault. And then I
Okay,
work with other DJs as well, tour managing,
yeah.
uh, promoting everything.
A lot
So
of artist relations on your background there.
yeah.
um, let's get started with a little bit of your background in the EDM scene. Like when did you first start raving?
It technically wasn't a rave, but my buddy in 2019,
Hmm.
he hit me up and was like, "Hey, do you want to go to Gubball?" And I was like, "Well, I've never been to anything like that before, but
Hmm.
sure." And it was fun. Main stage was a mess. During Playboy Cardi, I basically got knocked out and just beat up by just the people in the crowd. Just, I mean, there's the crowd was so dense at one point. I wasn't even, my feet weren't on the ground, but I was being held up. My shoulders were just like, and I just,
Oh, is this a true story?
this is a true story. Playboy Cardi. I literally started out in the back of the crowd. His DJ came on. I got pushed up to maybe like the first third of the crowd, and then he came on. I got pushed up right behind rail, and I'm just standing there like this. I'm just getting, not intentionally, but I'm just getting beat up by people. Like,
yeah.
Then at one point I went down, and then people were screaming at me like, "Why did you fall down?" And I'm like, "I did not mean to fall. You think I want to be covered in mud?
You think
like,
I want to
no.
be oppressed today?"
Yeah, and it was already disgusting because I don't know if you've ever been to Izu, but it's like it's an area they don't use anymore, but it's a back section of Reynolds Island, and it just, there's any bit of rain, it just becomes mud. And I remember going out there after the set, and there was literally like, it had to be literally 3 to 4 feet deep, bogs mud with clothes, with shoes, with passports, wallets, just anything you could imagine just in there. So I was in that. And then this was less than a year after my liver transplant. So I finally bailed. I was like, please get me out of here. So I got pulled over the rail, and I remember taking a picture, and it looked like I'd gone swimming. I got stretch marks on my arms, like right here. They had ripped open my stretch marks.
Oh, so Lord.
And then my ankles from probably like maybe 3 inches below my knees all the way down to my shoes was just a solid, not yet at that point, but eventually became a solid black and blue mark.
Yeah.
It was just, but anyway, that's not what kickstarted me into EDM.
I was gonna say, I'm like, and this was the moment I was like, wow, I want this.
No, but that was Playboy Cardi. There's just the raps sets there were kind of chaotic. I mean, yeah.
My last podcast episode, we talked about a lot of the difference between like the hip hop rap community and like the straight EDM community, right? And like the differences comparing it. Like, there's a big difference. So it's really interesting to see a festival where you have both, because you see like two very different crowds.
Yeah, it was insane. But anyway, so I think we were gonna go see Gesaffelstein, however you pronounce that. But we ended up missing it. We were like, hey, why don't we just go over to what is it? Major Lazer. Major Lazer was playing. I was like, well, let's just get as close as we can possibly get. So I camped out there for like an hour and a half, and then that set just changed my life. Like, say what you will, that whole stuff with Diplo, everything. Like, don't support that at all. This was before I knew about any of that, but that set just changed my life. Like, I'd never seen anything even close to that before. I mean, I was just literally up there standing like, oh, can I curse?
Yeah, go for it.
I was just like, holy shit, I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm experiencing right now, but I love it. I love it. I mean, I was totally sober, just having the time of my life, just watching everything, taking it all in. I was one of the only people who noticed that the stage caught on fire at one point. Like, it was just, so there was that. And then after that, I was kind of just like, I need to do more of this. And I just slowly started. I think my next show was Virtual Self. Like, my first actual show was Virtual Self at the Brooklyn Mirage.
Okay. And
it was on a Sunday, and I ended up meeting a couple of people there because I'd gone out to a bar the night before. I mean, again, I don't drink, but I was just socializing, and this guy was wearing a Dylan Francis shirt, and I was like, I mean, because I've been listening to EDM since like probably when Skrillex's Cinema Remix came out, because I got that was the first thing I ever heard.
It's so funny. A lot of people relate their first experiences with like listening to EDM, and like, with Skrillex. Skrillex was a huge, and like now Skrillex come out with 2 albums back to back in the same month is insane. That's a whole thing. So it's like everyone's just like reliving like their childhood, because like Skrillex is a big reason a lot of people even got started like raving or listening to EDM.
The first thing I ever heard, and then I got big into Flux Pavilion and Dr. P and everything. And I never went to a show. I just never went to a show or festival. I was just always kind of like, oh, I kind of want to do this, and it just would never pan out. But then I went to virtual self at the Brooklyn Mirage. That was incredible. And then the next thing after that, I believe, was I went to EZU.
Mm-hmm.
Went to EZU, and that was insane. Like I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that I liked rail. I wanted to be on rail for that. So got rail every single day. I mean, the third day of EZU, I stayed at rail from the first opener, which was at like 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
until it closed at 11 p.m. and I had to pee so
Did you just grab a bottle?
no, I still have no idea how I did it, but I just hung on, and I was just like trying not to move too much because I was like, oh my God, I have to pee. But
I mean, dude, my first experience is like, when I first started going to music festivals, and one day I was at EDC Las Vegas and I was on main stage. I was at the rail, dude. I grabbed the water bottle, peed in it, put the lid on. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I there's no way I'm gonna make it by the time I get out of this crowd.
yeah, no, I was all the way up front, the closest you could possibly be to the stage on rail, and I was like, I am not giving up this spot. I want to see Alice in Wonderland. I want to see Dog Blood. Like, there's no way I'm giving this up. And that's kind of when it got started. That I was always on the rail, and then slowly but steadily, like, I just kind of got more into it. I joined Radiate, then joined a couple of things. I remember I joined a thing for hijinks. Then I got added to like a Snap group chat for hijinks, and we planned a show around my birthday. And then I went to, God, what was it? It was man, I'm mentioning some artists that should not be mentioned, but it was Space Jesus' festival. I have not listened to that man's music since all that came out. Like, of course not. But this was before that, and he had a 1-day festival at Coney Island. It was called Moondog Beach. And I ended up like saving rail for this guy and his girlfriend. And I ended up, that was before EZU. Yeah, that was before EZU. So I went to that. And then I went to EZU, and I saw them at an after party at the Mirage for EZU. We just like crossed paths. I was like, wait. And they're like the two Spider-Man pointing at each other, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that kind of evolved until they were coming up to like Philly and New York. And they lived like right outside DC, and I was just going down and spending time with them. Like that, I went down for Nightmare Festival, which was in DC. That was at the Anthem that year. And then right after that, we had Fright Night, which I just ended up staying with them and just
it's so cool. Like having like friends that like the same music taste as you. I mean, say what you will about like having friends with like similar hobbies, etc. It's about the music, dude. When you have friends that have similar tastes, you can do a lot more things together. So it's really cool how like in the EDM scene is that you can meet a lot of people, a lot of friends there. Because in my experience with having friends, like your friends just kind of happened to like similar music taste, but like at a rave for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of all started. I started going to Philly more, and then I ended up doing hijinks 2019, and then shortly after that, I joined a promo team in Philly. Started for that. That happened for about 2.5 months, and then COVID happened.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of like evolved, right? You were saying we off camera. You're like you were Yale on the rail, but now you're Yale behind the rail, right?
Yeah, I promise that is not me being full of myself. It's just a joke. Like, I swear it's just something I found funny. Like, that's not me being pretentious or anything. I just thought, like, I'm actually working at this now, so like why not just change the name and feed more into it? But
yeah,
a lot of people think I'm being serious about that. I'm like, no, it's not that serious. I'm not that much of a dick.
It's funny. It's true. I mean, people like me and you will laugh about it, right? But other people who like they're not really part of like the industry in that sense. Like they're the ones probably not taking it as a joke. But I want to know, like, at what point did you realize that you're like, wow, I want to be a bigger part of this community and this industry, really?
I mean, it kind of all started during COVID, because like when COVID hit, I was just a local promoter, and then I knew the guy running it, and I mean, basically, like, I built a lot of relationships with artists through COVID by just interacting with artists, supporting their music, always like posting it and everything. Made some friends like that, and then when the drive-in raves started happening, like, I actually got to connect with a few of them, and just yeah, I mean, just a couple people. I mean, it all kind of started because I saw Jeannie open up for Kaiwachi at the Lost Circus at Avant Gardner,
Mm-hmm.
and it's literally my favorite. She played what is still my favorite song, which is "Destroy All Humans" by Oski, and I knew the song. I just, at the drop, it goes "Destroy All Humans," and I screamed it. And then I saw her like a month, yeah. And then I saw her like a month and a half later, and she played the same thing. I did the same thing again. She literally like stopped the music. And she was like, "You, I remember you," and we just became friends.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so we just became friendly off of that,
Yeah.
and then I met some other artists, and then I was promoting for drive-in raves, and then I I mean, I wasn't really, I really, there wasn't really anything going on because I'm at high risk of getting sick because I have a liver transplant. I'm on um immunosuppressants, so I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything. It was driving me crazy. Like, I wasn't even able to stay at my place. My parents were like, "You're coming here. You're coming to our
Oh,
house."
right. Yeah, you were one of the at-risk people.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So I just stayed at my parents, and like all I had was going for walks in the woods and working out in the home gym I somehow cobbled together. So it was just like all I had was music to just, and everything. But the driving race started happening, and then Dubstep FBI started. They put out a thing. They wanted to make a street team, so I applied, and I got in. And after a couple of months of that, they said they wanted people on the street team to start writing articles. So I started writing for them, and I have no doubt my writing was absolute trash then.
Do you still remember your first article?
I honestly, like, that was deep in COVID. I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I just remember it happening, and I just was so excited about it going out. And I mean, they basically taught me how to write.
Mm.
Um, and
Hey,
yeah, I don't even know what my first article was, but and then that's how I really started building some relationships with artists, because I would write about their stuff, and they like reach out or like thank me for it, and I'd
oh,
show
that's
support.
awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, it basically, for me, it all started was because I just supported some artists who are just really great people, and they just
Yep.
responded back in kind. I mean, one of the um one of the artists that I work with now, like Felmax, like that dude is one of my best friends.
Mm.
Like, I would die for that dude.
Yeah.
And it all started because I just wrote a couple articles for him for Dubstep FBI, just got into it, and then I met him at Lost Lands in 2021,
Yeah.
and then I kept writing, and then I offered to be his tour manager whenever I
Yeah.
could, so we got working with that, and then he knew I was going to be I wanted to move forward in the industry, because at that point I was just still working for the promo company. I was
Mm.
helping him at that point, but I was doing that, and I was writing for WFBI, and then I was managing one artist just with no experience, just kind of like helping him along, doing whatever I could, and I just got a call from Pelmax one day. He's like, "Hey, like, you want to do this, right?" I was like, "Yeah," and he basically brought me on to his manager's team, and it just kind of all started from there. And I mean, I'm no longer managing the first artist that I was managing then. I mean, it's one of my best friends, but he just got a
Mm.
better offer, which I totally supported him doing.
Yeah, absolutely,
Um,
man.
yeah, I
And
manage 3 artists now.
it's crazy because like a lot of the steps along the way, it all equals out to supporting the artists. I mean, at
Yeah,
the end of the day, that's all we're doing. I related to what you were saying earlier with like you were just writing articles, dude, and I
yeah,
related to that because I was like, dude, all I'm doing is like making these podcast episodes and inviting people to come in, and a lot of my
yeah,
relationships are formed because of these podcast episodes.
yeah.
So I related so much when you said that, like a lot of the relationships you had is because you were writing and supporting these artists. And it really is. It's like it's funny. A lot of the stuff that we do is it's just free support. It's not like we're asking you to pay us money and we're like, I'll write this article for you. It's like,
Yeah.
all we're doing is really supporting the people who deserve to be supported.
Yeah, exactly. And then, excuse me, and then I started doing that, and then it just, I mean, honestly, it's been in the past, God, it's been less than a year that it's really gotten crazy, in my opinion. I started, I had a friend who worked with EDM training, and I knew they were looking for a writer, so we got that set up. I was just doing their artist of the week for a while, and just writing that, and then basically at my poking and prodding and being like, we should really do something with this. They started a whole publication with me running it. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily experienced. I mean, I do my best. I think it's going well. I don't know if I'm sure other people could do it better, but I'm doing my best at running that. And then the most recent thing that I started doing is I started writing for Dancing Astronaut, which is like, just blows my mind.
Yeah, that's huge, man.
Like, I never ever thought.
Yeah, I've been reading Dancing Astronaut articles for a while, so that's pretty dope, man. Congratulations on that, man.
Thank you.
Well
Yeah.
deserved.
In end of November, this was when I was still working for the promo team, but they weren't paying me, which I get it. I was basically just an intern or something. I was just helping out, but I met my boss, my now boss, and he already knew me because he'd seen me at the Ab, like working with a couple artists, whatever, just tour managing and stuff. And we just bumped into each other, and he was like, wait, so you're sober, you're in the industry, and you know what you're doing. Do you want to come work for us? And I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. So that happened, and now I mean, I don't even really go to any other shows now, because I'm like, there's going to be some sort of show there every single weekend, and I'm going to be paid to be there. Like, obviously, I can't always pay attention to what's going on stage. I'm going to be doing some sort of work, but like, I'm being paid to attend a show basically, and just make sure it doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
So that started, and then tour managing has been great. I mean, I'm Felmax's tour manager now. I got to tour manage for him in Virginia.
Yeah, people don't realize it, man. People don't realize it, but like, when you really are dedicated to being a part of this industry, man, at first it's gonna be slow, but man, when that train hits, it hits fast, and you're gonna notice a big incline. Like, whoa! All of a sudden, your entire week's busy every week of just constant things you're doing in this industry. And you mentioned something. You said, oh, I don't know if like I'm doing the best job, but I'm doing the best that I can. It's funny because you're doing better than those people would, because a lot of people that would do it better than you don't even know what's going on in the scene, but you're so in the network that you probably know better than most of the people could ever write with. They would write with limited information and limited network possibilities. You're coming in like just balls deep, bro. So,
that's true.
Sorry that there are errors in my writing, but I'm telling you the dirty details of what I'm actually listening to, because you have a lot more experience in your own way than they do with the education they had writing, probably. Which brings me to the reason I'm talking about this is like, so I actually edit EDM Maniacs podcast episodes, right? And what they told me was, they wanted me to basically do it for them because I wouldn't know what to cut out. So experience in podcasting and experience in the EDM scene leads them to believe that I know what to leave and what not to leave, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable in the community. And I was like, damn, you're right. I mean, you could hire an editor. Would they know what to cut? Probably not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So you have a lot more experience than you think you do, just literally being a part of the community.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to see it that way, huh?
Yeah.
So how long did you write for Dubstep FPI? How long was that? Did that last?
I only recently left them because I got too busy with school and everything, and I just felt that to give them the quality that they deserved. So I mean, that was probably like, God, 2.5 years, I think. So yeah, because we're
Oh,
in
wow.
2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, they're the people who run that. Chrissy and Yessie and Joe, they're all incredible writers.
Yeah.
Like I said, they taught me so much.
Dude, Joe's
So
my neighbor.
really,
Yeah.
no
I,
way.
I I invited to my Super Bowl party the other day. When Super Bowl was happening, we had a huge party, and I
Yeah.
invited him. And he's like, "Can I bring my dog?" I'm like, "He's my dog's like a people person, you know." I'm like,
Yeah.
I have 120 people at my house. It's probably not the safest place for a dog." And then he
Yeah.
comes in here, dude, and he goes, "What the fuck? There's so many people here." I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like we throw, like when we party, bro, we throw massives, bro, at this house. Like,
Yeah.
there's probably more people at my house sometimes than there are at raves, you know."
Yeah.
And then and he's like, "Thank God I didn't bring my dog." I'm like, "Dude, why would you even bring your dog anyways? You live across the street from me. Like, just go back and take care of your dog if that's the case." Well, what is it? What is it that you want to get out of this industry?
I mean, I'm honestly still figuring that out. I
Hmm.
mean, because I mean, most people focus on one avenue,
Hmm.
and I'm basically doing all of it.
Yeah.
Somehow, I'm tour managing, doing PR, uh, I'm working at a venue, doing all of that.
Mhm.
Like it's overall my goal, honestly, I want to work with artists, and my goal is to be, if I end up getting an artist who succeed is big enough to go on tour,
Mhm.
or if I'm on tour with an artist that I can basically, in any situation, if anything goes wrong, I can be like, hey, I got this. This is what you do here. This is what you do here. Oh, you need PR for this. Oh, I got you. I'll write up I'll write up I'll write up a thing on it, get it out to the labels, get this, or not the labels, get it out to publications, do that, get the PR done, set up things with like just creating as many connections as I can so I can. I mean, one thing Felmax taught me was be the guy.
Mhm.
Be the guy that, like, oh, someone asked a question, you're like, I got it, I'll do it. Oh, you need this done? I got it, I'll do it. CDJ's malfunction? I got it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So basically making myself,
That's really good advice. Because I see a lot of people who are very successful, they are the guy or they're the girl, you know? Like they're the
yeah,
people that can make things happen. And it's
yeah,
like if people aren't talking behind your back, hopefully in a good way, then are you really like doing a good job at what you're doing? I'm more curious as to what was your initial goal when you came to the EDM scene? The EDM industry, right? Because there's two different things. What was your initial goal coming in this? Did you just want to just be in the industry? You didn't care what it was, or was there like a certain goal you had in mind?
I mean, I kind of just stumbled into it. I was
Oh,
just
you
kind of
didn't
like,
even want to be a part of it. You're like
I mean, it's not that I didn't want to be a part of it, but it was kind of like,
just tripped and
oh,
fell into it, huh?
basically, I mean, when I started promoting, I was like, oh, all I have to do is post on my socials, and I get to go to shows for free.
Yeah.
Cool. And then when I started writing, I was like, oh, I mean, I did a lot of writing in high school, did a lot of writing in college, so I can be like, why not? Let's just try. It was just kind of like, oh, this
Mhm.
sounds fun. Why not?
Yeah.
And then now it's become actual profitable work, but it doesn't,
Yeah.
unless it's something that's like pedal to the metal, like this needs to get out now. Like
Yeah.
doesn't really feel like work. Like I'll be at the venue I work at from sometimes like 4 p.m. until at the extremes
Hmm.
4 a.m. if we're doing something after. And like it seems to go by in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm having fun. Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I'm working box
Oh
office, if
yeah.
I'm helping code check, if I'm making sure everything at front of house is working, if I'm making sure everything on stage is working, if I'm just doing hospitality with an artist, like I'm just
Hmm.
having fun and I'm getting paid to do it. It's
Oh, dude,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, I love it, man. I mean, I have evolved it to very similar aspects where, like, I did a podcast episode in the green room where all the artists could come in and talk to me, and we all like, so like I've done that. I've also helped with security, with like artist
Yeah,
security and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
you'd be very surprised what you can do with very limited experience, you know.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I've been lucky that the venue I work at, the three guys that own it and my boss, I just soak up information and they're just
yeah,
amazing to work for. Like I've absolutely zero complaints. Like it's a great place to work.
What do you go to school for, if I may ask?
I'm in school for music. Actually, I you heard the tuba before we
Hmm.
started. I play tuba. That's what I'm in school.
Oh, so like are you trying to like major like music theory, or like is there a specific type of music degree?
I don't mind music theory, but I don't like it that much. Like I know what's going on, but I do not want to spend my days analyzing a Bach
Yeah.
every single little note and analyzing. Oh well, there's this note here. Could that potentially tip it into that?
Hmm.
It's this chord of this inversion, and then like no.
Yeah.
I just want to play.
Yeah.
Like and right now, what I'm figuring out is, do I want to keep going with tuba, or do I want to make EDM my full time career? Because I mean, at the
Oof,
moment,
decisions, man.
yeah, I mean, at the moment, like I have a very, very chaotic schedule. Like I write, I write anywhere from 5 at the low end. It's usually more,
Hmm.
5 to like 8 articles a week.
Hmm.
So, and some of them, that's not all like separated between equally or among days. Like sometimes it's 3 in a day. So
Hmm.
I do that for Dancing Astronaut and EDM Train. And then I have to do PR for the management company, and then I have to
I
just
mean,
set
it just seems like
hours.
you have a full-time job on top of full-time school to me.
Exactly.
So,
It's basically like 3 full-time jobs at once, because I got
yeah.
school, and then outside of school I have to practice. I practice 2 to 3 hours a day,
Hmm.
and then I got to do all the EDM stuff, and then I mean, dude, it gets insane. Like I mean, I if I want to do everything I got to do, I wake up at 4:30 like 5 days out of the week, just to get up, get to the gym, get my day started, and then just have
And you
fun.
go to the gym.
Yeah, so it
Wow.
keeps.
I see. I don't have excuses then. I'm just, yeah. I'm trying to get back to the gym. I've cut out a little bit of the EDM.
Yeah,
I didn't like I was trying to like I was just focusing on EDM for most of the year of last year, but I've
yeah,
come to the position where after New Year's there has been a festival break, and I haven't
yeah.
received like really money from any EDM sources for the last like 2 months. And I'm like,
Mm,
whoa, I didn't realize that I had a huge break in between my year. I always keep forgetting there's this freaking festival break in between,
yeah,
and like where there's nothing going on. And I'm
yeah,
like, okay, so like, I just got another full-time job, and I'm like, I can't keep relying on like EDM to keep helping me pay my bills and stuff like, because there's going to be these gaps, and I can't afford to have fluctuating, salary, I guess.
yeah. I mean, that's what's nice about shows. Like without fail, my show throws at least two. My venue throws at least two every
Hmm.
weekend.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's three. Like not this weekend, but the next 2 weekends after that, we have a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night show. It's just gonna be, oh boy, and we're still gonna end at 2 a.m. on the Thursday, and I live an hour from Philly,
Hmm.
so there's no way I'll be back by 3. I'm gonna say generously I'll be back by 4 a.m. Probably later, because there's always stuff that needs to be done to
Hmm.
be cleaned
And then
up
you
and
got to
everything.
wake up at 4:30 to go to the gym.
No, that day I'm not doing that. That day I'm not doing that. That's a pre-planned rest day, because I need at least a couple
Yeah.
hours of sleep, but I have to be at school at 7. So
All right. So we're gonna end this pretty shortly. I do have two more questions for you.
okay.
When it comes to writing, what is like your favorite topic to actually talk about or write about? I mean.
I mean, I'm a bass head.
Hmm.
Like I like all genres. Huge fan of D&B.
Yeah.
Love me some house, like techno, everything. But I am at my core a bass head.
Yeah.
There is honestly the thing that I love most is getting sent a track by one of my friends or someone that I'm acquaintances with, and being like, hey, here's this track, and there'll be a fair amount of time before it's released, and then getting asked, do you want to premiere this? That is my favorite thing to do.
That's awesome, dude. That's
Like
fucking dope. That's dope to be able to do. It's dope to have this as a job. That's really cool. A lot of people like would kill to like do something like this and be a part of this community. In the industry. I mean, which leads to my second question. Do you have any advice for anybody that would like to get started in the industry or jump in the way you did?
I got a couple points.
Yep.
First of all, be kind. You never know what other people are going through, and you never know what's going on behind the scenes. And if you're nice, that in and of itself just opens so many doors. If people meet you once and then you somehow get brought up and they're like, oh yeah, I met him, he was really nice, that does wonders. And just be nice. There's no reason not to be.
Yeah.
Like even if someone's a dick to you, just let it flow off you. Just don't respond in kind. It's not worth it. Just be nice, be humble. No matter where you are in the industry, you can always learn something else. There's always going to be someone in any aspect of life. There's always going to be someone for some reason, for whatever reason, they're better at something than you. And that's a lot of how I think I've made my success.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always willing to hear criticism. Like if you have something to say, just tell me. Like I'm not going to get upset if you think there's something I'm doing wrong. If there's something I can do better, please just tell me.
Yeah.
And that's also been great. So be kind, be humble, and just have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just have an open mind. Be open to things changing. Like my life has changed so much. I mean, I haven't even been raving 4 years. Like I haven't even been working in the scene like God, maybe 2 years actually
Yeah.
working. Like just keep an open mind. Just some doors will shut, some doors will open. Just just be positive. Like of course there's always going to be things that affect you and are negative, but and sometimes you really can't help how it affects you, but just as long as you just keep going. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure, I mean, not to sound pretentious, but I'm sure in a year I'll look back at where I am now and be like, damn, look what's happened in a year.
Yeah.
Like it like you said, once you get into it, it just ramps up
Oh yeah.
so fast. So yeah, just
I mean, shoot, you could look back now from 2019, you know?
yeah. I had no idea what I was doing. I showed up to Izu in a tank top and cargo shorts.
I remember going to the store at Walmart and grabbing some really bright neon shirts because that's all I was gonna wear because I didn't have
Yeah,
20 brands reaching out to me to like
yeah,
sponsor my festival clothes, you know?
yeah,
So
exactly. So just be kind, be humble, be able to take criticism.
mhm.
If I didn't, I seek, I still do. I seek criticism. Is there anything you think I can do better? What else can I do? Like, is there anything you think I should do? I should do more or do less of? Just
Yeah.
to the point probably where people might think I'm a little annoying,
Yeah. But
but
these are really good traits to have, you know?
yeah,
Especially when you know, when you allow that criticism, it just gives off that sense of like I'm hungry, you know, like I'm hungry for information.
yeah. And you can
Um,
never ask too many questions.
and just to finish off, give us all your handles. Where can people find you? If you have any questions, where can they reach out?
My Instagram is Yale Behind the Rail, all one word, YaleBehindTheRail. And my Twitter is also Yale Behind the Rail, but it's YaleBehinTheRail. So Yale the Rail. So
Okay.
yeah,
I'll
and
put
then
all of that. I'll put that in the description down below. That way, in case they have any questions and they want to like kind of know how you know you guys started, maybe they want to go in depth or whatever, they can ask questions. And that will be in the description down below. And this is just for the viewers. This podcast will be available in video format and audio format. The video format is on YouTube and Spotify, and the audio versions are also on, you know, it's on Spotify as well, but it's also on SoundCloud, Anchor, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, and Apple. And iHeartRadio. I put it on there too for some reason. But Yale, this has been freaking great, man. Thanks for
yeah,
hopping on last minute. I really think people are gonna get a lot out of this, and I'm really happy to share your story, man. So I appreciate you coming on to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, man. And like I say at every episode, I will catch y'all at the next one.